Dedicated women's league to fill the gap between college and professional soccer. A league that's committed to advancing women's soccer, focusing on the development of the female soccer player during the summer months, elevating the competition to help each player reach that next level, providing high-level soccer for collegiate players, aspiring and former professionals, and international stars. Operating with professional standards because players and fans deserve an exceptional experience. Uniting players that inspire and are inspired. We are passionately growing the women's game. The future is bright for United Women's Soccer. It's time. Be part of the movement.
Good morning, soccer fans. Summer Soccer Week 4. Megan, it's exciting. It's getting going, and we will have a national championship announcement hopefully soon.
Yes.
Because I know we're going to have a great time this summer based off of what we've seen these last few weeks. Megan, how'd that run go last week?
It was good. Yeah, it was tough. We were up at like 5,000 elevation, which is something that I've never experienced before, but the views were incredible, running like with a mountain view. It was like a blue sky, sun beating down kind of day. It was tougher than I expected, but I did really well and I was very happy with it. So yeah,
because you're so high, the clouds are underneath you. But hey, listen, everybody missed out because we didn't have a show midweek. And so let's talk a little bit about week 3 in the summer of soccer. We saw a lot of matchups that we expected a margin of victory, that we had spoken about a close matchup. In week 3, Megan, what matchup had your attention as it related to the summer of soccer for UWS?
Yeah, so week 3 really did have a lot of good games, and there was some that were super, super close, like you said, and then there were some that were just dominating victories. And for me, the game that caught my attention the most was that SC Blue Heat season opener where they beat the Reno Vikings by 9-0. And at the time, after week 3, that was the biggest goal deficit that we had seen in the UWS so far. And I think that was SC Blue Heat really making a statement in that opening game, because there's been a lot of talk about SC Blue Heat. We know that they always come in with a really strong roster, but how do they play together? Are they just those individual talented players, or can they put a team well-rounded performance on? And they proved it, that they definitely can. You had Sade with 2 goals, Alexis Nguyen with 2 goals, Amanda Perez with 2 goals, and then you had 3 other players with a goal each. And I think that shows how well-rounded they are, because they're multiple different goal scorers. Do want to give a big shout out to Reno Vikings, because they did hold their own at the start. Their goalkeeper did really, really well. There was plenty of other shots that were going goal bound, and she pulled off some good saves. But the Vikings, man, they need to play for 90 minutes. They started off really strong. They knew what they were doing. They were shutting down Blue Heat, and it took Blue Heat a while to get going. And then once Blue Heat get going, obviously they don't stop, and they put 9 past you. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to develop. I think Reno Vikings have had a very tough start to the 2023 season, but I think they're learning a lot. They're learning that soccer is a 90-minute game, and UWS, in just a matter of minutes, a game can change really quick. And Blue Heat kind of did that, because once they get one, they got the next one very quickly. But yeah, shout out to Blue Heat for a very solid starting performance.
It's almost like they've been listening to kind of the expectation from the UWS pundits about what they anticipate from the group. And we finally, in 2023, we finally saw it. You know, it's a different side. It still has Sydney as their captain and as the leader in the back, but no Lauren, no Thompson, Alyssa Thompson. Giselle's out at international duty. A lot of their players that they have run in for the summer are on international duty with U20s playing for CONCACAF. Yes. So there's a lot to see and a lot to think about because of those athletes who are out. I would have to say my game was Steel City and Buffalo. That was a great matchup. Buffalo hadn't been challenged They've kind of been able to walk through the matches, and we'll talk a little bit about the match from yesterday, but they haven't played a physical game. Not in my eye. When we talk about soccer, Luka Modric said it best: the game is easier when the ball moves faster. But this was one of those games that was just straight physicality. It was hard fought, and it's a two-headed monster on that Buffalo team, and we'll talk a little bit about that because they combined for 6 goals last night. But what can you tell us, Megan, about that two-headed monster out east in FC Buffalo?
Yeah, so you have got a dynamic duo in Marcy Barbaric and Carissima Catrona. Those two players that I remember previewing it at the beginning of the season last year, saying that these two players had they've known each other for a really long time, but they never really got the opportunity to play together until they came to FC Buffalo and into the UWS. And that's kind of mind-blowing because they look like they could be sisters who just know each other's movement because they are just insane together. It's so dangerous when they're on the attack. Carissima Catrona, her 1v1 skills are incredible. Her speed to get around players. And Marcy just has an eye for goal. And she knows where Catrona's going to put the ball. And she puts it in the back of the net. I mean, those two are up there with the players to watch for the 2023 season for sure.
18 goals for, 1 against. They've played Flower City twice, and they played a very, like I said, we just talked about it. They played a very tough Steel City team. 18 goals for, 1 against. There has to be some magic that is going to happen where the East picks up. Now, the jury is still out on whether or not Albany is that team. The Albany Rush is the team that can contend. We're about to see a lot more teams in action today. Coppermine, for instance, they are on the heels. They've got their 1 win. They won last night, so that's 2. That gives them 6. They're playing well. 6 goals for, 1 against. I think Coppermine can be one of those teams. Maybe even Maine Footy, if Maine Footy can get it together. The Mutiny are probably not happy about tying and drawing with Maine Footy, so you never know.
Yeah, you really never know. I'm very interested to see Albany Rush. They look very, very solid in the attack, but we haven't really seen them tested defensively. And I think that if there's a team that's going to do it, it's going to be FC Buffalo. But Buffalo are coming up next week against Erie Commodores. And I think Erie are a tough team to beat. They don't go down without a fight. And so that matchup is going to be really, really interesting and testing for Buffalo because I don't think they've seen a team that fights to the very, very final whistle and is not happy unless they've left every single thing on the pitch.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. My matchup was West as well. I went with Calgary, the defending Western Division champion, against LASC. I thought that was going to be a bloodbath. I'm not going to lie. We talked about it last week where we had discussed the travel and what that does to the body. And LASC got off with a PK in the I think first 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah, I want to say it was the 20th minute, yeah.
15th or 20th minute, LASC jumps ahead. And it was like Calgary was shocked. How do we play? Yeah. But then they started to put it together the second half. They come out with a 2-1 victory. But that wasn't the same Calgary team we saw last year. We didn't see that Calgary team until the second half of Thursday's game against Reno. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the show. But as a part of our weekly features, you had goals of the week this week.
Oh, yeah.
Our video does not allow us to talk over it. So, Megan, why don't you walk people through what they're about to see for both? We'll start with goal, and then we'll get into save.
Yeah, so goal of the week, we had 36 goals in week 3, which we kind of spoke a little bit about. Are we going to see as many as we saw in week 2? We decided based on the number of games that we wouldn't. But that doesn't mean that the quality of goals wasn't there. I mean, there was a lot to choose from this week. But the top 4 pictures, you had Victoria McKnight from BC United, Katie Crone from Albany Rush, who, might I add, is the leading goal scorer for UWS 2023 season. The third goal is Angela Vandamia, which is from Erie Commodores. And then finally, you've got a long-range banger from Taylor Rutland of Flower City Union. So let's get into these goals and take a look.
Was Katie overtaken in the goal lead yesterday?
Ooh.
Spoiler alert. Here we go. Goal of the week. Newsflash. I'm going Rutland with the chip on the keeper from 40 out.
Here's my thing, is that I think that this week's Goal of the Week nominations are just so cool because there's such a wide variety. You've got McKnight like running in a 1v1 battle. She's got a defender on her back, and that takes composure to score in those situations. She had a lot of time to think about what she was going to do. And for a lot of players, that mental battle means that the goalkeeper just comes out and takes it because you overthought that decision. So I love that one. Krohn's a diving header. I mean, she's so brave to put herself out in the box like that. And that wasn't just any header. That was into the corner. That was difficult for the goalkeeper to get. So fantastic finish there. Vandamia is a like what? That pass coming into her was kind of bobbly, and she was like, no big deal. Like, I'm just gonna put this top corner. Like, hold up a minute. And I think it was either the game tying goal or the game winning goal. I can't remember, but it was a very important moment in the game for Erie. And that was a classy finish. And then Taylor Rutland coming out with a banger from outside the box, just seeing the goalkeeper off her line and was like, yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna have that.
I mean, it looked nice. It was there. It was a finish. And I cannot give Krohn a diving header. She ran into the defender and fell. I'm calling that one. Now, I'm not taking away the goal. She placed it where she wanted to on the head as it related to where it wanted to go, but I cannot give her a diving header because
Katie, you better get on here and start defending yourself.
The defender pushed her down into another defender. Maybe momentum, maybe, but I'm gonna have to go with a very close. No, that was not a diving header. Sorry.
Where my Albany Rush fans at? Come on now.
Albany Rush. I will be a fan, regardless of whether it was a diving header. I'm just not giving diving header status. Cannot give that quite yet.
Well, let's make sure everybody goes onto Twitter at UWS Soccer and get in your votes. You've got 15 hours left to vote. And we're going to take a little look and see how the votes are doing right now. Let it load, let it load.
I just had it.
Who is leading the charge this morning?
Erie.
Vandamia. Love that.
57%. This could be runaway.
Wow.
See, what I want to know is, look, we have over 6,500 followers on the Twitter box, and why we only have 28 votes, people. This is not okay. I'm not accepting this.
Yeah, people, come on, let's get voting. To be fair, I will give it to you that we put it up quite late last night. However, I know everybody else is up on a Friday night. Don't give me that.
Yeah, but are they scrolling TikTok or are they scrolling Twitter? I'm going with TikTok on that one.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe we need to get the TikTok machine working.
Maybe we do. Let us know if you are feeling the content over on TikTok, and maybe we can make that happen. But other than Goal of the Week, we also had Save of the Week. 4 different saves this week, and there was a lot to choose from when it comes to Save of the Week as well. Some solid nominations from some coaches, and also just watching games, I was like, let me make a note of that one because that was a brilliant save. For nominations, we have Liliana Mantoni of Worcester Fuel FC, Jordan Imes, Indiana Union, Shaylin Vanderbosch from FC Buffalo, who came out very brave for her save. And then lastly, from FC Berlin, we have Hannah Johnson. Check out these saves of the week.
I don't know. Where are you going?
That honestly, it's tough because Mantoni's is a close reaction save. Imes and Johnson had a bit more time to kind of think about theirs. And then Vanderbosch was a totally different kind of save to the other three, where she was putting her body on the line and she was brave. And so for me, I'm going to go FC Buffalo.
See, that was a solid, I would have to say it was a solid stop. It was a great 1-2, back to the box. Little Deke almost got it, but Vanderbosch was there. I have to go with Johnson for FC Berlin. Full stretch, having to get there. Didn't see it until late. Defenders were in the way. Good reactionary save. Got to go there.
And it seems like the fans agree with you, Jonathan. She has acquired 50% of the votes so far.
And 10 less than the goals. We got to get going, people. Come on.
Yeah, got to get voting. You got 16 hours left to vote on Save of the Week. So we'll be sure to share this content. Make sure that you're getting your votes in, and let's see who takes that crown.
Well, week 4 provides us something different. We have a Southwest Conference schedule, and we had a match last night, Megan. I'm excited for Southwest soccer.
Me too. The Southwest is always an exciting division. I think that they have always captured our attention. They're really great at engaging. The social media coverage, I think that the Southwest has a reputation for that they're not just playing high quality games, but they're promoting that their individual athletes, and they're putting their players out there for people to follow. And they really get involved in the community too. A lot of the Southwest games are known by people within that area, and they get the community out. They get a really big support for all of their games, which I think makes the atmosphere for the players so much better.
Definitely makes it more engaging and more fun. Shout out to Ryan over with San Antonio Athenians and all the effort and time he puts in for their social media. Because without him, who knows what happens?
Yeah, very true. It makes a massive difference, especially when you've got players who are traveling to these states or playing in a different country, and they've got families and friends who want to follow it. And the Athenians do a great job of making sure that everybody is involved in watching. But many other clubs in the UWS as well. We've got awesome presence on social media. So shout out to those teams.
And even the fan base for the Athenians with the Crocketeers, that's amazing to have that opportunity as well. They got a good setup down there.
Absolutely. And the Athenians had their season opener last night. Jonathan, give us your thoughts.
Oh man, let's talk a little bit. The Athenians are gonna be a younger side. We can tell that right away. They're not the same established team that we've seen the last 2 years in a national finals. And so last night, I think it kind of showed. Maybe it's the amount of training they've had together, the time that they've had together. But as the team to beat in a 4-division race, and this is going to be very tight because you have the runners, you have Luxoria, you've got now Austin Blues, and then you've got the Athenians. When the schedule came out and we knew what was happening, I'd already penciled in Athenians. I'm not going to lie. And after watching last night, losing 1-0 to a Blues team who we've always talked about, soccer and first-year teams and how they struggle. This was one of those matches where it wasn't the team coming into UWS that struggled. It was the team that's been established in UWS that seemed to have the struggle last night.
Yeah, which is very interesting. It's not something that we see often, but I completely agree that the Athenians look like a much younger side. And it's difficult to adjust to the pace of the UWS when you're younger, the physicality of the UWS when you're younger. and the Blues made a statement. I mean, that's a big win to take down the Athenians, who have such a well-known presence in the UWS. And I'm excited to see how that confidence is taken forwards into the rest of the season, because in an opening win, taking down the Athenians, I think you're then thinking, okay, we can do this. But let's hope they don't get too confident, because there's some other teams who are returning. You've got Luxoria and the Runners, who are both returners, who I think will now be established. They've got 1 year under their belt, and they're ready to go this year to make this year their year.
Well, we had some Friday Night Lights along the line with those matches. We had Futsal Factory and Nationals SC. It was National SC's first matchup. They took that one 2-1 against Futsal Factory. A good trend for Futsal Factory after coming out last match and getting basically worked on. This match they came out, they looked a little bit better, a little more unified as a team, to have a 2-1 result against a Nationals SC team that is a very solid team that could win the Great Lakes division.
Yeah, I think that would be the expectation for Nationals. They have really solid roster. Last year they played very well. They score a lot of goals. So a 2-1 game for Futsal Factory is really good to move forward and take some momentum into their next game.
FC Buffalo 10, Flower City 1872 1. Thoughts?
Wow. I don't think I expected that. We knew that FC Buffalo had the ability to put 6 past Flower City Union. We know that FC Buffalo have an incredible attacking side, but 10 goals, that's pretty impressive. And I think we really saw that partnership between Marcy and Charisma come alive last night. And I think that the rest of the East Conference is going to be a little bit terrified to play against FC Buffalo now. The lightning that comes out of the soccer ball in their logo is kind of like just like them making that statement. I feel like the lightning is just coming out of FC Buffalo right now, and everybody needs to be on their toes approaching when they play FC Buffalo with caution, because yeah, they're a side to be reckoned with.
Most goals scored in FC Buffalo women history. And
Wow,
if I'm not mistaken, largest margin of victory for them as well with that 10-1 win. Marcy Barbrick, 8 goals on the season, scored 4 last night. Catrona had, what'd she have, 2? Yes, 2. No, yeah, 2. So the 2-headed monster out east, that's 4 goals. That's 8 goals. That's a lot of goals.
Yeah, so that puts Marcy atop of the goal scorers for 2023. Katie Crone's on 7. So congrats, Marcy. You're now leading the 2023 season as the top goal scorer. Yeah, that's a lot of goals. 6 goals between 2 players. That's pretty awesome.
Coppermine, 3. Keystone FC, 0. Coppermine just finds ways. That's the second matchup in a row. They've found a way to get 3 in the back of the net. They have a tough matchup today, though. They travel to Jersey to play a New Jersey Copa FC team that has not made the playoffs since 2017.
Yeah,
they need some luck.
Yeah, and I think they really underperformed last year. And I think that gives a unique fuel in the belly where you're like, this year we have to show that last year was just an off year, and don't judge us on that performance. And if you do, then we're going to take it to you this year and you're going to be quite surprised. So I'm very excited to see how they come out this year, but that's a tough matchup to start with, going up against Coppermine, who look to be just continuing that form from the 2022 season. So yeah, that should be a really good game. That's kicking off at 2:00 today, right?
That is a 2:00 kickoff.
So you don't have to wait long. Get streaming that one.
Yeah, no, that one's going to be on right as the FA Cup is finishing. Manchester United, Manchester City. Manchester United men trying to stop the treble. We'll see what happens. My hopes are not up. My hopes are not up, but we'll see. We'll see. Midweek game Calgary touched a little bit about it. Calgary went to Reno, or not to Reno. We'll call it. They are called Reno, but they were more South Lake Tahoe, which is just a little outside of Reno. Beautiful location. Calgary 5, Reno 0. Again, the tale of two halves for Reno. You talked about it a little bit earlier. They play very solid 45 minutes, but a match is 90.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I would love to be on that Reno team to kind of see how the coaches' talk is at the beginning of the game, because I feel like their pre-match talk and their pre-match preparations, their warm-up has to be really solid because they start well. They start like they have a true game plan and they really stick to it, but a game plan has to be for 90 minutes. And it feels like once they let a team in, they kind of fall to pieces a little bit. And you can't do that in the West Conference because they are like, you've got all machines, these teams. You've got Blue Heat, you've got FC Arizona, you got Calgary, who once you let them in, they're going to keep going. And I think Calgary are going to be really happy with that performance because they've showed that they have multiple goals within them, and that if you let them go, if you let them have the opportunity, they're going to capitalize.
Yeah, definitely. So you just can't let Calgary into a match at all, period, dot. Midweek, we had the Nutmeg Derby is what I've called it. And we had Sporting Connecticut and the Connecticut Rush. Sporting walked away 4-1 on that one. It was a good matchup in the end. You know, Sporting just had a little more opportunities to finish there. Just want to bring that to light because I named it. I self-named it a derby. I don't know if they're close. I don't know what the distance is between the two, but look, Connecticut's the nutmeg state. And what more could you not have than a meg in soccer? And so it is the Nutmeg Derby. Sporting takes the first one. I think for me, the big matchup's going to be out in the Great Lakes Division. I have always admired from afar what is there. We talk about the Hawks. We've talked about Nationals. But we have not discussed a new team for that division, and that is the Michigan Stars. Michigan Stars has an interesting rivalry with one of our former clubs, supporters groups in Detroit City FC. I'm curious to see what Michigan Stars is able to do and if they can infuse some of that former talent or mojo that you would see from Detroit City into this side. They have the Legends today, and then tomorrow they have the Jaguars. Back-to-back games in your first weekend isn't ideal, Megan. We've talked about this before. Can the Stars make a statement this weekend if they pull out 2 wins?
Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity for them to grab 6 points. So this is a massive weekend for them. They can make a major statement coming out with 2 wins. But that's tough to do. Back-to-back games, you've literally got 24 hours to prepare your body. And to me, the only way that you can get 6 points from these 2 games is if you have a deep roster, because there's no way you're putting the same 11 players out to play against the Legends and then to play against the Jaguars and get 6 points. That's not happening. So if Michigan Stars has the depth in their team, I think that they can earn 6 points. If they're relying on those same players on Sunday, I think the Jaguars will have it.
Okay. So you're going, you just depends on what the roster situation looks like.
Yeah, it depends how deep their roster is. I haven't really had a chance to study their roster, so we'll have to see this weekend.
So moving out east, we've got Flower City. We've talked about that game. Coppermine, Keystone. We talked about that game. Coppermine, Copa. We've got Sporting, Connecticut, and Worcester. That will be an interesting matchup. Albany Rush goes and takes on Scorpions. That could be a fun game.
Albany needs to make a statement in this game because FC Buffalo made a statement last night. I feel like there is pressure on them today.
Who blinks first?
Who blinks first?
Who do you got? Who blinks first? Who's going to can Albany? I go back to a few years ago when in golf and you had Tiger Woods in his Sunday red. And everybody, the mystique behind it was that when you had him in red, you did not win. You couldn't win. You couldn't beat him. Even if he was down, he would still find a way. Could we see Buffalo and Albany, but Buffalo wearing the red?
I don't know about these golf references, Jonathan, but thank you for explaining it because I was confused. I think that the Rush are going to take it to Scorpions. I think that if they want to make a big statement to FC Buffalo, they need to score at least 5. I think if they don't put 5 past Scorpions, FC Buffalo are going to be like, it's fine. Like, we're chilling. We're not worried. But if they can put up a big number of goals, then I think it is something for Buffalo to be conscious of. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
My matchup in the East today, Maine Footy and Connecticut Rush. Look, Maine Footy has I won't say exceeded expectations as of yet, but they have shown that they're capable of doing big things. This is one of those big things. They have to come away. I hate putting those in the early season that of a must win, but for Maine Footy to stay in the race and stay in the conversation in the East, they have to win today.
They do. Yeah, they are coming up against a very physical side, but I think that they too are looking for that kind of a battle. So I think this is going to be a really epic matchup.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Again, Maine Footy has to get a W here. And another one that needs to get a W in order to stay up, Lancaster Inferno. No. BC United comes to town. Conestoga Valley High School. If I got that wrong, I'm sure Francisco will text me in about 5 minutes to let me know. But I think this is one of those matchups. BC United's they had a victory. That's confidence. You beat Flower City, but I feel as though this gives you a little bit of a pep in your step, and this is that opportunity to put another pep in the step with a win against Lancaster.
Absolutely. In the UWS, building momentum is so important. If you're bouncing around on those scorelines, you win one week, then you lose, then you draw, then you lose, then you win. It's a lot to deal with constantly going up and down. But if you can get momentum where you're just winning and you're racking up those points and the goals are coming, it becomes so much easier because the season is condensed. And so that makes it so important to grab points and to take confidence into the next game and to continue growing so that you peak when we get to the playoffs and when we get to the national championship. And yeah, Lancaster today. Is it today or is that game tomorrow?
Lancaster is, drum roll please, that is tomorrow, June 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern.
They really need the 3 points. And I hope that they've kind of got out those jitters of that first game because I think that's all that was really like hindering them, I suppose. They were playing against a solid Coppermine team, and if you make mistakes, Coppermine punish you. So hopefully they've got all of those out of their system, and now they are ready to just play their game and to get 3 points because, yeah, if they want to stay in contention in the East Division, they need them.
Let's move out to the Midwest. Look good, feel good, play good. Cincinnati Sirens and Edgewater definitely have the kits. They have the logo, meaning they feel good. They've started to this will be Edgewater's second game, but the Sirens have played 2. They actually look really good.
They do. The Sirens' speed of play, it's up there. It looks really, really good. Obviously, I'm watching it from a stream. I'm not seeing in person. But typically, if it looks good on the stream, in person, it looks even quicker. And so that is what I think the Midwest teams should fear about the Sirens because, yeah, if you haven't got the speed to deal with them, especially on those outsides when they cut in, then you're going to be in trouble.
They host RBFC Elite today, Fairfield Stadium, 7 p.m. Eastern. Look, RBFC was a team last year that I don't think they finished as well as they wanted to. And they struggled a little bit in terms of getting points and putting balls in the back of the net. Can they turn that around in season 2 of their UWS journey?
Absolutely. This is their opportunity to say, we had a year and now we're ready to compete. I don't think we have even really spoke about them or know enough about them. And so if they can make a statement today, let's bring them on the show. Let's learn more. Let's talk to them. Let's find out what they're about, and let's see what their expectations are for year 2.
Well, remember last year how that worked. New Jersey Copa said they wouldn't come on unless they won. It took them a couple weeks, and we still haven't seen them. Just saying. Just saying. Roberto, hey, we need you guys on the show. Second matchup, 8:30. So a little time to watch and learn a little bit about what Cincinnati or RBFC can do. Edgewater Castle, Indiana Union, fire pitch, 8:30. Look, Edgewater was not that left a bad taste in their mouth the last time out with that draw against Cincinnati. I think they were very confident, it seemed, in their ability, and Cincinnati held them to their own.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a good game that it makes me very excited to see both these teams in action this weekend. I think that this is a tough game against Indiana Union, though. So, I don't know. Indiana Union are going to want to get a win. They're coming off a loss. And so it's a big moment for both these teams to try and earn 3 points.
We talked a little bit about some of those Southwest divisions, the Athenians and Blues last night. Blues taking that one 1-0. The other matchup tomorrow, Runners, Luxoria. Look, I have a feel that Luxoria has the same opportunity to create and make waves out there in the Southwest, just like Lone Star Republic did out of Dallas. Same area. You know, it doesn't have the same swagger. Whenever you have Jackie in a conversation, Jackie is kind of one of those people. She's not just a hype man, but she backs it up on the pitch. Luxoria might have a couple of those. I'm just saying Dallas is very, they wear a lot of big hats out in Dallas. So, you never know what happens.
Yeah, the Dallas soccer scene is strong. And so that Luxoria are getting those players in. And I think last year we saw glimpses of it, but we didn't see their true capabilities. I think that they are stronger than they showed us last year. They were kind of the team that caused upsets, but they never really got going for themselves. So they didn't get all of the points that they needed to get to progress on in the season. But whenever they needed to get those 3 points to stop other teams, they did that. So I think this year is when we see them go for it themselves. And with the Athenians losing last night, I think that makes these two teams very, very excited to play and to get 3 points and to make a statement. So I think this game is going to be even better than what it would have been when we looked at the schedule on Thursday.
Out west, we have Calgary flying to Arizona. Different elevation to now just heat. Calgary goes to the desert to take on an FC Arizona side that has looked really sharp here early on in the UWS Summer of Soccer. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, for me, this is actually the game to watch, I think, because this is two teams who are going to be very competitive. And I do truly believe that this could go either way. You've got Calgary with maybe some tired legs, but I feel like we've spoken to Calgary enough to know that their recovery and their preparation for games is very, very strong. And they're not going to be thinking that that's a detriment to them. FC Arizona have the advantage, though. They're hosting this one. And they have recently unveiled 3 new international signings. And you've got 2 of whom have experience on the Brazilian national team.
So here's my question. Can they play? And is there a language barrier? First off, I don't know either player. Is there a language barrier? Is there something that can tip the scales one way or the other as it relates for FC Arizona? I'm not saying they're bad players. I've seen them play. They're extremely talented individual players. Can you put them in a side? Have they been training, or is this one of those things where they are now just coming in and it's going to be like, here, let's see what we can do?
Yeah, did Arizona decide to announce them late as kind of mind games to say as if they haven't been training with the team, as if they haven't been on those team bonding activities, or is that a double bluff? Are they coming in to be the new dynamic duo that we want to see competing with Barbaric and Catrona? Who knows?
Well, that's the $1 million question. So Leticia has played one match, got 70 minutes in. The other, Rafa,
Yeah,
is
Silva.
I don't even see her on the team sheet. Just saying. So she
So
would be coming in.
So
This will be
potentially, Zebra said, "Hey, I know how we can win the West Division. Sign my friend." Maybe they have that link. I'm
maybe
excited for that one. That's kicking off today at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. I can't turn my hands fast enough. Wait, this backwards mirror thing.
I know. I actually flipped mine, so I'm like all good.
You did? Oh, see, I do it because this way I know that this is the side where my dog has been spending most of his time, and so if he tries to get to his food, which is right here, and knock over the garbage can, I know that I can stop it.
Yeah, there
So
was
it's
too
like,
many times when we had like 4 of us on the stream, and I'd be like, and then I would point the wrong way, and I was like, I can't do this. I need to mirror
you need
it.
the mirror. Gotta go with the mirror. The other matchup out west, Santa Clarita Blue Heat, traveling down probably 15 miles to LASC in the Hollywood Derby. Now, is
I
it the
love
Hollywood?
that.
But is it? Can we call it Hollywood? Like when you think of Hollywood, you think of two teams with just brand name, notoriety, players oozing that are just top caliber. I'm not saying that neither team has top caliber players because we know they do. We know they do. But can we call this? Can we officially get on the bandwagon of the Hollywood Derby?
I think we should put up a poll. I'm obviously not from California, so I'm not sure. Never even been. However, I'm flying there on Tuesday, so I'm very excited for that. Woo! I like the Hollywood Derby though. I'm here for it. I think that has a good ring to it, and I think that hypes up this game. And I think this game is going to be really interesting because if I think LASC made a big statement when they played against Calgary, showing that they can compete. And I think that gives them confidence. I think they should approach this Blue Heat game with the same mentality where they need to make it physical. They need to compete for every single ball. And if they can get an early goal, I would be very intrigued to see how SC Blue Heat handle it. We got to see that out of Foothills. How do they handle going 1-0 down? They were able to hold out until halftime, where I'm pretty sure they had a very strong team talk that led them to come out in that second half and dominate. I want to see how SC Blue Heat handles going 1 down.
Control the West is in the plot. That's what we know. The question is, what is the ending? Can the ending be a fairy tale ending where SC Blue Heat walks away, or is this an opportunity for LASC to make some waves? Play, it's too early to say this out west. Can they play a role of spoiler on some of these teams, whether it's related to goal differential or just being able to steal points? Can they be the villain of the West?
Absolutely. And it hasn't been that many games so far, but I do see this happening. I feel like LA are that club that can come in and kind of do what Luxoria did last season, where they're just spoiling things. They're stopping things from happening. They're causing ripples in teams. They're making them have to play a different way, take a different approach, come up against tough battles. And yeah, this game is going to be very, very exciting. 2 strong games in the West Conference.
2 strong games, 2 opportunities to see some wonderful talent all throughout the league here in the 2023 Summer of Soccer. I'm excited because I know where everybody's going to be going at the end of the season. We just haven't been able to announce it, and it bothers me. I want to spoil the secret.
I think we also did accidentally skip over a game in the East Conference. We have Steel City FC and Erie Commodores playing at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. I think we accidentally forgot to go over that one, but that's going to be 2 teams that will leave it all on the field, make that a competitive battle, and I'm very interested to see how the physicality of that game goes.
If it's anything like their May 20th competition, this will be one to watch. I think you have 2 teams that want to win and they want to put on a show. The question is the physicality of this show going to allow one of those teams to leave with 3 points? I don't think so.
Ooh.
I think these are 2 teams that match up really, really well, and they it's almost like, I don't want to call it a sibling rivalry, but after watching that May 20th one, it was like, okay, I'm going to pull your hair and then I'm going to poke you in the eye. Right? That's how I walked away from that matchup. Is these are two teams who they don't necessarily know each other as a sibling, but there's definitely a brewing rivalry that could be fun.
Yeah, I think Still City are gonna have something in their belly to say we're not okay with how the last game went, and so we're coming back with a vengeance. But like I said, Erie is a strong team. We've seen them, I think, what were they 2-0 down last week, and then they came back and won. So they've kind of had an opportunity to go through different emotions already this season and really had time to build chemistry and build a bond as a team, which is something that other teams maybe don't get to do until like much later on in the season when they've experienced different types of games. You've got teams like Buffalo who have just, won those games quite comfortably. And so they're all happy and they haven't experienced that emotion of like, how do we deal with these situations? Can we come together and be a really strong team in this moment of distress? How do we overcome this adversity? And Erie have already had that opportunity to show they can, which is something that's tough to deal with, but they've showed they can handle it. And we're only at week 4.
Only at week 4. There's 8 weeks for every team. Let's see what happens as we get closer to the ending of Summer of Soccer National Championship weekend coming up end of July from, can't say, dang it. I really just one day I'm going to have a slip. Stephanie, Francisco, I'm going to apologize in advance, but it will happen. Hey, also, okay, today, Women's Champions League final, Wolfsburg, Barcelona. Who you got, Megan?
I'm going for Barcelona.
Ooh.
Who do you have?
I was going Wolfsburg.
Okay, I love that when we split.
I was going Wolfsburg because look, German soccer is starting to really, really get an interesting look as the men and the women are starting to kind of mirror each other's style of play for club and country. So I'm curious to see how the Wolfsburg side responds to a Barcelona team that is deep with attacking options. Don't know if they're quite deep enough to stop Wolfsburg attack. You put the glitz and glamour of Barcelona and the style of play against Wolfsburg's physicality and speed. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of English players are going over to play in Germany because, the league is up and coming. The teams are strong, and this is a sold out stadium, might I add. So this game is going to have atmosphere, which is the thing that I love about women's soccer now, because I remember going as a young child to tiny stadiums and cheering as loud as I could, but I don't know that the players could hear me. But now these players have the crowd that they deserve, and the game is going to be so good because you could just imagine what the stadium's going to be like with it packed, the noise, the trumpets, the drums. There's so much riding on this game. And I think every time in the women's game that we have the opportunity to play in front of big crowds and to make big statements about how high quality the women's game is at this moment, it is something to be so proud of how far we've come. And so you better be watching this game. It's this afternoon. What is it? 3:00 kickoff for us in the East?
I see
3 or 5.
I see 7.
7.
Is that Eastern?
Oh, dang. That would surprise me.
Hold on. Yeah, it says 7. Is that 7 a.m.?
Oh.
Yeah, you better get that cup of tea moving.
Yeah, what the heck? No, there's no way. 10 a.m.
All
10
right.
a.m.
That's Eastern.
Time.
But so that's 7 Pacific my time.
Yeah. So you better get the coffee moving.
I'll have the coffee moving. I'll have multiple screens on, FA Cup on one, Women's Champions League on the other, and then my son's birthday today. Yay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's got all of his buddies coming over, so this will be a packed house of guys just running and jumping in my pool. Yeah. Good times. Well, hey, listen, Summer of Soccer Week 4 we're excited for everything that's going to happen this weekend. Megan and I will be back next week with you to talk about week 5 of the Summer of Soccer. Who knows? Maybe even sooner. Maybe we just do an impromptu show. I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see indeed. Real quick before we head out, though, let's just highlight our 3 players of the week. We had goalkeeper of the week, Kayla Spiller from Cincinnati Sirens. Defensive player of the week, a familiar face. And I know, Jonathan, you are a big fan of Grace Stordy from Calgary Foothills. And then our offensive player of the week from Albany Rush is Katie Crone.
Hey, solid. Stordy's solid. You cannot tell me she is not a solid player. One of those defenders that you know is going to give you everything she has left and right, playing for the University of Memphis or playing for Calgary as she works her way to play for the Canadian national team. She's next.
Yeah. Her performance last week was incredible. She is so fit and so fast that she gives a different dynamic when she's on the field because she can attack and she can defend. She shut down her side defensively, but opened up her side offensively. And she created so many opportunities. She got the all-important assist to really get things going. A solid player. Definitely want to watch for that Calgary side.
Katie's a top-class finisher. She's going to be somebody to keep an eye on throughout the Summer of Soccer. Same thing for Taylor Spiller. I think she is one of those goalkeepers. If she can keep playing at a high level, there's definitely some golden gloves in her future. Much like Hillary Beale. Congratulations to Hillary, the Australian League goalkeeper of the year, but also not just goalkeeper, made the save of the year as well. So she was given her awards last night at a banquet for the league. So that's kind of awesome that a former UWSer is overseas just doing her thing, making it look easy.
Yeah,
just typical Hillary. That's what she does.
Yes, congratulations. And I think that is motivation for all of our goalkeepers in the UWS to see a player like Hillary doing massive things and making waves in other countries and showing that the UWS is an amazing platform if you want to step up and play the professional game, because the talent that we have is incredible. And yeah, team of the week this week is a pretty solid starting 11 that I wouldn't want to mess with. You have young players such as Olivia Dixon, just 16 years old. She was a substitute at the 30-minute mark when her team were 2-0 down. And that's a lot of pressure to go in and say, like, hey, can you go in and help us get 3 points and shut down that side, because that's really where they're attacking a lot. And she went in and she did that. She stepped up. And she was defending, she was attacking, she was winning every aerial duel. Charisma Catrona, obviously back in for her second week on that team of the week. She's a dominating player. Sade making it in with her 2 goals and just, a top performance. Maya Jones from Calgary also going in. This team of the week is solid.
Well, you got Maya Jones on it. Maya puts out goals left and right. I think she scored a couple more against Reno too. So keep that in mind. I think she got 2 or 3 more. So she's scoring goals. So, well, hey, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We know there's other things to be watching today, but you stayed with us. We appreciate your time and the energy that you give to our league as we hope to see more opportunities for our women to play at the next level of soccer, not just here in the NWSL, but around the world. And with that, we say thank you and good luck to everybody's teams on this Saturday for the FA Cup and Champions League final. Megan has Barcelona. I got Wolfsburg. I'm excited about it because I know we're going to win. Well, I said we. I'm not playing. We shall see. Well, Megan, thank you so much. We'll see you on the other side.
Yes. Enjoy the weekend.